Food for Thought with Professor David Bitte.
Now, it is said that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, meaning your mind is the most powerful thing to determine the quality of your life. Welcome to Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. Professor, talking about the stick that I have in my hand, for somebody probably who's never experienced a panic attack and they experience a panic attack, what should they do? Because this is something new, this is something foreign. You know, you're thinking, am I dying? What is happening to me? How are they supposed to react or respond to this attack?
Yes, I was using the example of the stick that I have in mind to emphasize this point that we are short of resources.
Yes.
So we as country, as societies, must learn to harness the resources that we have so that we can use them to bring the resource, to do something for these people. Mm-hmm. And the resources that we have the families. The family is very important. In fact, there's a very big movement that's going on now, and this movement actually started in the United States by a guy called Mesenak, a good friend of mine. Yeah. He's a world authority on this. And they are saying, for us to be effective, we must start with person-centered treatment. Person-centered treatment is a movement that is coming up in the United States.
Yes.
And is going global. We must start with family-centered treatment. What we are saying is, get people to understand what they are going through. Get myself, let me give my example. Get myself to understand what I'm going through and what I can do for myself in terms of managing the condition. Get my family to understand what I'm going through. Get my wife, get my children to understand what I'm going through. And once you start operating at that level, then you can do quite a lot. That's why I think, and I'm happy to be part of this process, because I am talking to families. I am talking to the individuals. I am not talking to doctors. I am not talking to nurses. Please, when you go to see the doctor and there is a problem, it is your right to ask, explain to me in simple language what is going on in me, what is going on in my child, because I would like to understand, and I would like to know how, as a parent, how, as a relative, can help. So I think to answer your question is knowledge. Give knowledge to people. Let people understand what's going through there.
Okay. Finally, Professor, what are some tips you can give us to help manage panic attacks?
To manage?
To manage it, yes.
Well, very good question. One of the things of managing, once you explain to them what is going on, is there are very simple techniques. There are techniques like relaxation. You can tell people how to relax, and you can tell them in terms of how they breathe in and out, how they can relax their minds. Relaxation techniques, there's very, very many of them. Relaxation, it means you are bringing that level of anxiety from that level to a much lower level. That one can be done. And many people in family situation, a patient can be taught to do that. The relatives can be taught how to make that person relax. And then there will come a time when these attacks are so huge in terms of their severity that you may need to use some drugs, and there are drugs that are available. And what those drugs do, there are two categories. There's one we call anxiolytics, without being technical. Basically, they go to the brain and act on that part of the brain that causes the anxiety, to reduce the amount of anxiety that is occurring at the level of the brain. But then, as I say, when people have these conditions, there are chemical changes that get out of their system and they go to the level of the heart, they go to the level of the lungs, and they start breathing very fast, or the heart becomes fast, start beating fast, or they may have muscular pains. Then you can give a drug that you can give so that they stop those effects that are outside the brain, at the level of the heart, at the level of the blood vessels. Those medicines are available.
Okay. Finally, Professor, does panic attack have to do anything with personality types? Are there personalities that are more prone to a panic attack than others?
Well, let me answer this question rather indirectly. There are very many medical conditions. We know, for example, diabetes tends to run in families.
Yes.
Hypertension tends to run in families. Many different kinds of oncological conditions tend to run through families, very many conditions. This is expected, given that even in these conditions, there are some chemical changes in the brain, and those chemical changes in the brain are mediated through genetic predisposition.
Okay.
So the same principle applies in any medical condition. It could be a panic attack, it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be any condition. So the message here is this: don't treat people with mental illness in a way that is different from other conditions, because the genetic predisposition is all over, even our personalities. The way, if you have a pleasant personality, 75% of that pleasant personality is determined by your genes. If you are an intelligent person and your IQ is very good, for heaven's sake, don't go boasting that I'm an intelligent person. You had nothing to do with it.
Yes.
You inherited it. Okay? It's only about 15% of this may be environmentally determined. So once we understand some of these things, then we take away the element of arrogance or pride. I am like this because I'm special. You are not special. Whatever you are, it was given to you. So that's the point that I am trying to make. And coming back to your question is, yes, it's an element of that, but it's general. But let's not just pick mental illness and say, you are like this because so-and-so in your family, you are like this. Then you start stigmatizing them.
Very true.
Are we going to stigmatize people with the depression? Are we with the diabetes? Are we going to stigmatize people with the hypertension? Are we going to stigmatize people with all medical conditions for which there is a very strong genetic predisposition? It's just an element of stigmatization. Shall I say again, based on ignorance, because people don't know. And the fact that we are talking the way we are talking here, I hear many people will not say it's because of your background. Yes, there is an element of that, but it's all over. It's in all medical conditions, including our personality, including our intelligence, so and so on.
Wow. Professor, thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate it. Remember, as I said at the beginning, that the quality of your mind determines the quality of your life. Let's maintain a good mental health. That's food for thought for today.